Great. Hello, I'm Julian Zawistowski, and I represent Golem project today. Well, let me briefly tell you what is Golem and what we use Golem network token for within Golem network. So, when we develop Golem, we think about problems we want to solve, and I think the four most important things underlying what you're doing are first that the Moore's law is a kind of that. So progress in the power of computing power of computers is slowing down. It has not stopped by no means, but it is much different than it used to be. Second, cloud computing industry is organized in a very specific way. It is effectively it is oligopoly with also a lot of small data centers, small providers who strive to survive and get to the market, and in fact do not use their capacity in full power. And then if you have a excessive computing needs, then building in-house infrastructure tends to be a risky path, not necessarily worth all the effort. And last but not least, if we want to build real decentralized web, it will eventually need a computing component, like the processor, like a CPU of a huge decentralized computer, which web could eventually become. So what we want to do with the Golem project is to create market for computing power. So we want to create software which anyone will be able to use, first to sell computing power, second to buy computing power, and we want to make that possible both on professional and regular setups, so that you will be able to run Golem equally well on your laptop and sell the CPU cycles of your laptop, as well as on professional data center, as an alternative way of going on the market with your hardware in this data center. And thanks to that, we want to create first prosumer market, first sharing economy market for computing power. We want to do that on a nearly complete information market, where the rules of competing between the parties are almost as clear as on the commodities market. And finally, I think that what we are aiming for is one of the first general use cases for Ethereum network, and one of the promising general use cases of blockchain technology overall. So what is Golem made for, and also where is blockchain technology and where GNT enters the scene? So what we are working on is basically a piece of software you install on your computer and you join the network. You join the peer-to-peer Golem network. The critical point here, of course, is sandbox, where any computation can be run. At the moment, we use Docker containers, where we have integrated our first use cases, basically from rendering industry. Then important part is GNT. So the token used to clear transaction in a Golem network. You can consider GNT as a transaction system, custom transaction system used in a Golem network, and it is built on Ethereum. So while most of the Golem project is off-chain, in fact, or all the computing within the worldwide supercomputer, which we want Golem to be, happens off-chain, then the coordination between the computers and also transfer of value happens thanks to the tokens built on Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum and GNT serves as a trustless part of Golem which basically makes the whole thing possible. And then, of course, that all creates Golem networks, or peer-to-peer network of all the computers running Golem software, where everyone can both contribute to the network, earning GNT thanks to that, but also send tasks to be computed by the network. And this is basically what is the function of Golem network token. So if you want to rent hardware, you just have to set the price at which you want to rent it, and you can earn GNT by that. If you want to use the network power to compute something, you have to pay for that with the GNT. So basically, this is a mean to transfer value. And also, as you are free to set your own prices, eventual even rapid changes in the value of GNT are rather neutral for the network performance. I think also what is worth nothing, apart of the fact that, as I said, we are built on the Ethereum platform, is that GNT is in a way programmable. So we hope to evolve GNT if needed in the future to the so-called migration process, which is built into the token. So if it turns out in a year or two that, for example, to use some sophisticated payment channel solutions or other technology to further increase capacity of Golem network, then we might eventually decide to do that. And I think this is also worth saying a few words about adoption and like who is most important for Golem and who we believe Golem is most important for. And I believe, as I said, about providers, so those who rent computers, requesters, so those who are seeking for more computing power, there are of course like the critical part of the whole system. They are our users. But I think that the most important part actually are developers and software companies, because every computer is only as good as a software that runs on it. So like basically you don't need a computer as a piece of hardware. You need a computer because of the software you can run on it. So and I think that if you think about Golem as the new way of both monetizing your software, but also equipping your software into built-in hardware capabilities, then it is clear that Golem matters for software developers, software companies as well. And I think that this property will be very important adoption-wise, and also like mainstreaming these technologies to companies and people outside of the crypto space, which is ultimately, I think, very important for the adoption. This will be further simple, of course, because Golem is open source project, which I believe is the standard for crowdfunding projects like Golem. So anyone can join the platform and build on top of it. And although our focus at the moment is to come into first release, because we are still in the alpha phase, and make the product usable with first use cases, I think that ultimately our focus will be on delivering tools for software companies to integrate with Golem and run software on top of it. And as we are open source project, we invite everyone to join and contribute and run Golem. Thank you.